Vegas night out, think I'll call him daylight. I call him once, a little song. Oh, he's got nothing on, he comes naked with the dawn. I know that I will call him daylight. Well, knock once and now knock twice, the moon is sacrificed to the one that they call daylight. Oh, Rosie, my old friend, you've been a long time coming. I called all night, well, I was afraid. Oh, you come at such a time as you see fit, no compromise. That's why I call you daylight. I'm moving evermore, our children go to war. Some call you destroyer, some daylight. I'm not gonna dance, I'm not gonna dance, I'm not gonna dance until my ship comes in. When my ship comes in, when my ship comes in, when my ship comes in, I'm gonna lose control. Yes, so own my soul, now you own it, and you call it by the name of daylight. Oh, do you know me? You wanna know me? Oh, glad for you to call me daylight. Are you with me now? Working like a mule, I'm pulling slow on a rain-black road with a load I can barely feel. If you could come to me, you could take away my mind, you could fill me up like an empty cup. That would be fine. That would be fine. Oh, na 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 na, oh, na na na. Oh, na 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 na, na na na. No turquoise jewelry, no. Don't bury me in silver, don't bury me in gold. When I die, the earth is my bride. dark and shady hole. So are you with me now? Working like a mule. Eventually I'll be set free, and that'll be fine. Well, that'll be fine. Oh, na 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 na. 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 It's so cold in Shiloh Town, the birds can hardly sing. Pretty girl's gonna leave the town, or they won't be back till spring. The war is done, we come back home, but we're the ones who lost. See a man and woman alone. Was it worth the cost? I sing hallelujah, you'll sing hallelujah. We'll all sing hallelujah when they arrive at home. The sun is out, it's hot today, children out to play. Some are quick to come back home, others have gone to stay. It's so cold in Shiloh Town, the birds can hardly sing. Pretty girl's gonna leave the town, or they won't be back till spring. I sing hallelujah, we'll sing hallelujah. We'll all sing hallelujah when they arrive at home. I sing hallelujah, we'll sing hallelujah. We'll all sing hallelujah when they arrive at home.
I would say that all of the songs I played today, Call 'Em Daylight, Balthazar's song, and Shiloh Town, which is a Tim Hardin cover, all three of those songs sort of existed in my life at the same time, actually, which was around the time of this record that I made called Bad Debt, which comes from like about 15 years ago, and it's a record that I've been touring right now, like playing it in its entirety. Yeah, so all of these songs for some reason feel connected, including the Tim Hardin song. I couldn't say exactly why, other than maybe there's something about the melodic qualities of that Hardin song that feel similar to me to Bad Debt era His Gold Messenger songs. I would say that I'm certainly playing them more confidently with 15 years of experience just traveling around the world with this stuff. I feel like, I have different understandings now of these songs thematically than I did when I wrote them. I was at a totally different place in my life, and as I sort of open these songs up again after that long, there's stuff in there sort of existentially that never occurred to me that feels really obvious now. And that's just like sort of emotional or spiritual stuff about just about relationships that are in my life that I play these songs now and I'm kind of like, oh well, clearly this song is like addressing this thing that like I know I wasn't thinking about back then, but it's all in the fabric of it. I mean, listening to Bad Debt this far down the line is interesting to hear sometimes how blurry the line is between straight and swung. You know what I mean? Because now when I play these songs, it feels clear to me like what side of the fence the songs fall on in terms of like strum pattern wise. Like they're either straight or, my modes are often like either straight or swung. Like, right? That's like one hiss rhythmic vibe, which is like totally straight, and then the other is like being like a really deeply swung, almost like halftime feel with a 16th note thing that like kind of drives it is something that I use all the time. But on Bad Debt, I just hadn't gotten there yet. And so what I hear on that record is this really interesting, this really interesting mix of like straight time swung feel that I was still like figuring out, I think. In terms of of acoustic guitar rhythm, there's probably some stuff that in theory, if you were to measure them against each other, an old version versus the way that I'm doing it now would be kind of like starkly different. But the way that I'm feeling when I'm playing them, as far as I can tell, is consistent with how they were originally conceived. And I haven't changed any lyrics. The lyric, thank God, because I wasn't really thinking about this when I put together this tour, but I feel like lyrically these songs still are like doing the work that they were intended to do, and they still feel open enough that I don't totally understand them 100%, which is an important part of songs for me. Like I don't want to fully understand it. I want to be a little confused by the songs. I always tell people like I was born to be a rhythm guitar player. I've never wanted to play a guitar solo in my life. I don't know, I take like a lot of pride in my sense of time, and it's something that I've worked on a lot. And I think that like the rhythmic, almost percussive quality of my strumming is part of that for sure. So it's hard to show people what I'm doing, and but oftentimes like there's a particular type of strumming that is hard to, like if I'm teaching someone else how to play a song of mine, in hopes of maybe like giving my rhythm guitar part to them, like for a record. It's kind of hard to give that up because not to say that I'm like some sort of genius or anything, but it's really hard to get someone to replicate the way I play rhythm guitar. And I think playing Down Near the Bridge is part of it. It's like playing near the bridge gives you the like higher definition, but I feel like maybe I tamp that down a little bit by actually like having my finger touch the strings as I strum. The rhythmic element of actually playing while I'm singing keeps me kind of like tethered to the earth in a way that for me is important, because I feel like in terms of singing, when I'm singing songs that I know well, I have like a slight proclivity to like improvise rhythmically, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I feel like when I'm playing guitar and actually dealing with the rhythm, it keeps my singing phrasing more consistent. I mean, I've never really thought of myself as a narrative songwriter the way that we might think of them. I feel like I'm working a little outside that, in so far as like my words are, at least on the page anyway, sometimes feel a little more abstract. I know what the narrative is in my head because, you know, these songs sort of come from my own life experiences. So, you know, I can always trace the thread, but I'm always very hesitant to ever tell people what the songs are about because that's no fun, really. But as you say, like, I'm very interested in poetic language and or like heightened language and the power of combining certain words together that may otherwise be everyday vernacular into something that, when sung together, feels heightened. You know what I mean? And I'm very interested in rhythm and phrasing, and a lot of that comes from reading poetry, actually, and feeling like how the words roll out on a line or in a stanza. So this guitar, gosh, I don't even technically know what model this guitar is, but this is a Martin 12 fret triple O slotted headstock guitar. I have another one of these that is kind of like a more budget version that I bought maybe 25 or 30 years ago. That was my main and only acoustic guitar for years and years, decades, and I carried that guitar everywhere. I wrote every song I ever wrote on it, including everything on Bad Debt. I'm not one to like get sort of sentimental about instruments, or I try not to be. But that particular guitar, the original 12 fret triple O guitar that I had, I actually was starting to get nervous about it because it was really getting beat to hell. Like, all the binding was falling off. The intonation was totally insane. It felt so amazing, like an amazing feeling guitar, and it was just like my guitar. But I'm being very careful with that one. I walked into a guitar shop in Carborough, North Carolina, called Twin House, a great guitar store, to have some work done on some guitar that I had, and I looked into their acoustic room. This was probably like, I don't know, 4 years ago, and this was hanging in there, and I was just like, oh. Well, I wasn't planning on buying a guitar today, but I guess I'm gonna buy that guitar now, just because it's so close to the original Hiss 12 fret guitar. I just have a thing about these guitars. I think it comes from there's a Merle Haggard record. It's his like Jimmy Rogers record, and he's like hanging out holding a tiny guitar. I think it's actually probably a 00 with a slotted headstock. I've always been so enamored of just, I don't know what, that picture of him holding that little guitar. I must have seen that when I was 19 or 20 years old. I was like, I'm gonna buy one of those guitars.